Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank you all so much for watching again. Shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guests.
Hi, my name is Mason.
Hey, I'm Chris.
Hi, my name is Ben, and we are
Salamonca.
Hello. Thank you all so much for joining us. Why don't we go in the same order again and just have you each tell us a little bit about what you do in the band?
Yeah, so I play guitar and I sing, and it's pretty simple, pretty fun.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What about you?
Drummer and some synth, I guess.
Fair. You'd have a drummer's mustache, so it makes sense.
Thank you.
bassist.
Okay. Hey, that's me as well.
Right on, man.
Yeah. And then we're going to go kind of the opposite direction now. What got you each into music initially?
Oh, man. I guess just as a kid, like my parents, like their playlists that they had on iTunes or CDs or whatever. So that's what got me into music originally. And then like playing music myself. I don't know. I just wanted to get into it as I developed, as I got into more artists. Led Zeppelin. Once we started listening to Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. And was anybody else in your household musical at all?
Yeah, actually my mom is. My mom plays piano.
Ah, all right.
And but a little bit, not that much anymore, but
fair.
Yeah, she plays piano.
Oh, sorry. Did you start on bass?
I started playing guitar and I really like it. But I started playing bass with these guys.
Gotcha. Okay. And then what about you?
You know, when you're a kid and you don't know about music and you just reach a point where you're like, oh, this music thing, I get it. I can get into this. Well, I ended up getting into Linkin Park when I was a kid.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I discovered, oh, I think I like music. Music is my thing. So you slowly start getting into more bands and you just kind of have this rock star dreams as kids and you just kind of want to play. So I got my first bass. I'm actually a bassist.
Oh,
not a drummer.
Okay.
I'm learning to play drums. And that was kind of it. I think no one musically in my family. It was, I think, just the Latin, we just feel this groove.
Yeah.
Since we were born, and that's just kind of how it goes.
Oh, yeah. So, funny enough, after bass, I moved on to drums as well. So there's a natural progression happening.
Yeah.
I don't sing or play guitar, though, so I'm sorry. It ends at him. But what about you?
So, yeah, I mean, the singing and the guitar stuff didn't come till way later. What's funny is I actually started as a drummer. I remember, like, my first memories, I was, like, 4 years old. Like, my parents got me this bongo drum. We're, like, hitting it. And, like, friends and family and stuff would play music. It was just kind of part of life. And it was mostly, like, 80s stuff. Like, just The Cure and Def Leppard and just anything, really. As time went on, I kind of got more and more obsessed. And then that's when, like, kind of like Chris, it kicked in where I found my own stuff that I liked. And that's when I was just head over heels. Like, Yeah.
Leopard is a name I don't hear as much. Like I grew up with it. Like that was a band. That was a band my dad loved. So like I'm just very familiar with the catalog, but not a lot of people name drop them. So
yeah, they're a pretty random old school band, but like they rocked hard. But then like it was just like the setup for my life. Like I found bands that I liked, but then as time went on, I found other bands like Nirvana and stuff that really got my attention. So
yeah. And then are y'all from this area specifically?
So I'm from Vancouver. Yeah, so I'm from here.
Okay.
From Eugene.
I'm from Gresham.
Okay, so relatively Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
What brought you up from Eugene?
I live in Eugene.
So you're just here for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
For making the trip.
For our show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys played just last night.
That's
right.
Just last night, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll dig into that a little bit more in the middle of it. But before we officially get into what y'all do in the present day, I do have a couple foundation questions I like to check in with everybody on. And this first one is one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money? And this is just kind of open, whoever thinks it first.
Sheesh.
I think I bought Turn on the Bright Lights, Interpol.
Okay.
First album, and I was so stoked.
Yeah, I mean, that's a quality start for sure.
I think Black Keys, El Camino.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Are we talking like on vinyl or?
Just, it could be CD or I guess tape.
iTunes.
Tape as well, yeah.
I don't know.
The first album you purchased.
I don't know if I ever purchased an actual album on like a platform like iTunes or anything, but the first one that I bought on vinyl was Alice in Chains Unplugged.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Damn, all quality starts. You guys are kind of destined for good music. And then what was one of the first live shows you each ever went to that was specifically one you wanted to go to?
I went to Journey and Def Leppard. That was pretty sweet at the Moda Center.
Damn, hell yeah.
That was awesome.
That was a Def Leppard for me too, actually. That was pretty
nice.
Leopard.
nice. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I can't
gonna
remember
break
my
even here?
I just can't remember my first concert. I want to say it was Interpol and the Bravery here in Portland at the Crystal Ballroom.
Oh, hell yeah.
But there might have been some other like little show. I don't remember. So we'll go with that.
No, hey, that is definitely a solid early show regardless. Again, y'all just kind of had quality music going on right from the get.
Yeah.
And then before we officially get into it, do you each have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
When I heard Where Did You Sleep Last Night by Nirvana, I was like 12 years old. And I'm like, I want to write songs.
Hell yeah.
I've had two of those. I started a band when I was a kid, a teenager. And that was one of my moments where I wanted to do music. And then I stopped playing music for like 10 years. And then I heard one of his demos that I really was stoked on. And I just, at a bonfire, I'm like, hey, bro, like I suck at music. Like I'm not a good musician, but if you ever need to play those songs live, you have to hit me up. I would love to be like your musician. Like,
Okay, hell yeah.
and we started jamming. And then after a few sessions, I'm like, oh, I think I want to do this again.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I feel very similar to Chris. I always like loved music. I always wanted to play music, but like taking it seriously and playing with people, that always sounded really fun. But once I heard Mason's stuff, I was like, oh, and Mason and I were buddies already. So it's like, this is cool. I want to play with my friend and he makes great music. So it was like a great opportunity to start.
Hell yeah. No, I love that. That's rad. And that actually kind of segues well into, usually the next question I ask is how did the band come together? Sounds like we just got that. So I am going to segue to the next one, which is how'd y'all come up with the name?
Burrito Boy.
Yeah.
There's this burrito joint in Eugene, and we were having like a band named Crisis at that time. You're supposed to be Tommy Fire.
Yep.
And
Like
it
3
was
times.
just a little, I don't know. It just we were
A little Def Leppard-y.
Yeah, we weren't feeling it for our style specifically. It was just too, I don't know, punk, I guess.
We didn't even have a style yet either. We were
Yeah,
still discovering what we wanted to do, what we wanted to sound like. So
we were just going through the list as all bands do, right? I look up and there's this poster of Salamanca, Spain. Salamanca, it's what is it? Bullfighting.
Fighting.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, what if we just go Salamanca for no reason? I just threw it out
On the
there.
drive home, and we all look
Both
at each
of
other.
them, their eyes were like, huh?
You're like, Dios mío.
And here, exactly. Start rolling our R's and, you know.
Definitely, it's a cool name, and it is very like, it's unique to the ears and the eyes, but it's not a difficult one. I was kind of curious if I was nailing it right because I hadn't heard of the place, and 100% that's what it was in my head. So yeah, no, I dig that. And now let's go ahead and talk about your guys' writing process. Now it sounds like you kind of in the beginning had the song started, but when it comes to putting songs together now, how do y'all go about getting a track started?
You know,
Send a bunch of ideas.
yeah, a lot of times, but I think we all send like ideas. So like what we'll do is it's kind of strange. Like maybe for example, I'll write something, right? And I'll put it on Ableton. I'll get it all like mixed up and everything.
Shout out Ableton.
That's what I'm talking about. But I use that and I send it off to the guys like as an MP3 file over text, and then they'll listen to it. And they either like it or they don't. But a lot of times, if they do like it, then we'll start talking about it. And like, what do we like about this idea? It's always bones. Like there may not always be like something that's super standing out right now, but you can kind of tell the trajectory. And so it's one of those things where we kind of just work on it and we roll the kinks out, and as time goes on, they become kind of like our new EP. It's just a bunch of songs.
Oh yeah. And when you say talk about it, do you guys like have like a verbal discussion about it? Like,
Oh boy,
Yeah.
do we?
Hours worth.
Like crazy.
We disagree, we bicker, we go at it, we make up. I mean, it's a whole thing.
it sounds like quite a process.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually funny enough, one of my next questions is usually like, how do you go about like musical disagreements? How does that get solved?
I think it's easy for us because we're a trio. So outvoting.
Oh,
The best
out of
way of
three.
doing it. Yep.
Okay.
That's the best way of doing it. And I think it's the easiest way for feelings to not be hurt. So
Yeah, we can all respect that.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's one of those things where it's like, if two of you are agreeing on it, it's not like the other person's like, no, I hate this, I'm leaving. I'm sure it's just like, well, what if?
Yeah.
I think we're all pretty mature when it comes to that. I don't think we're spoiled to where we always want to get our way.
Yeah.
I think all three of us are right there. There's been a few things where I'm just like, guys, I'm telling you, we don't have to, like, if we do this, it's not going to be good. And we do it anyway, but you know, they've outvoted me.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I can respect that. And same goes that way and that way. It's just, it works out.
Fair.
We always think if we were four, I'd be a
Yeah, I was going to say, it'd be a democratic issue for sure. For sure. And then it'd come down to a coin flip. If
One of the wives have to come in with a gavel.
Hell yeah. And I mean, I guess when y'all are writing now, because you said in the beginning you really didn't have a sound, but you seem to have one now. When you're writing, does that just kind of happen naturally now, or do you like aim for a certain direction?
I think it kind of happens naturally at this point. Like after so long of just sending like borderline hip hop tracks and like hard rock songs, just everything, like we've kind of really narrowed it down.
It's filtered out by now, I think.
Gotcha.
I know what's going to work for us and what's not going to work.
Yeah, no, I could definitely dig that. And I guess since you all, I mean, I guess you kind of have mained on guitar and vocals in the whole process, but y'all have played other instruments as well. Do you ever like kind of approach the other instruments you're familiar with and be like, hey, well, I came up with this idea on this instrument?
I do. Like, I'm always messing with everything. I'm not as musically talented as that guy. That guy's like this prodigy. But yeah, bass is my thing. Like, that's my foundation. Like I said, I'm not a very good drummer, so I lean heavy on bass. Like anything I write, it's bass heavy, and you could tell that a bassist wrote it.
Fair.
Yeah.
And then I guess you said you had started on drums initially.
I started on guitar,
Or guitar. Oh, man.
and it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't really proficient in it. I was getting there, but I wasn't like progressing where I wanted to be, and then I kind of lost traction with it and picked up bass. So I guess early on I would try to come up with guitar licks or something, but
You've come up with some pretty good ones.
fizzled out.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, now let's go ahead and let's talk about some of your music. So I was checking it out on Spotify. You've got a couple singles that were back in 2022, but your most recent EP, which I wrote the name down and then it didn't save it. Where'd it go? Another Life. It just recently came out. It looks like it was in August. So what was it, like a couple weeks ago? We're still in August.
Maybe a week ago.
Days ago.
And it's really cool. Like definitely it's got a really good sound put together. And I'm a big fan of anything that starts with an actual intro. Like that's something that I don't see as much as I would like to anymore. And I thought it was just a really cool way to kind of ease everybody into the way y'all sound musically before like the vocals come in, before there's like a song direction. And so that really stood out for me. But I think also sonically, like it's really good. It's like everything was really easy to like articulate. Everybody kind of moved really well. And for being a 3-piece, the fullness is very much a hit or miss thing. It's either going to be dialed or it's just not going to be there. And y'all definitely have it on a musical level, which I think really stands out. But also there's an energy in it. Like, the vocals are a little more on the moody side. The bass is definitely a lot more moving and grooving for the sound. And then like, even like the drums kind of just fit everywhere that those things aren't. And obviously the guitar is stellar as well. I think that the movement on it in particular is cool because it's, like I said, there are moments where the way you guys approach music could be perceived as busy, but you don't have that element. It is very, very put together. Everything is very easy to decipher. The guitar has great movement. The bass does as well. And it all just kind of gets glued together with the drums. So that, for my experience, I think it's a really, really cool sound.
Music, those compliments we've never heard.
Thank you.
I try to listen to everything before everybody comes on the show.
We appreciate that.
But I also do this bit where I pick out a track I really like. And I mean, it was hard with the EP because it is put together so well. But as I've got to pick one, I went with Stella.
Nice.
And the reason I picked that was, and I got to kind of read my notes
Country
here.
song.
That's right.
Well, what I thought was cool is that it's kind of the perfect middle track. Like it's just, it's a little bit more relaxed. It's a little more bouncy. And even the vocals are a little more like dreamy in that track than they are so like moody.
Yeah.
And it kind of had this element to it where like everything seemed to simmer down, but the playing didn't. So like the movement in the bass was still very prominent. The guitar lead in particular was really like energized, but it just had this element to where like being that middle track, it just kind of slingshots you to the entire second half and made the whole experience really, really enjoyable. So that was the one that stood out to me.
That's awesome.
Appreciate
But
it.
I am curious to know for each of you, what are some of your favorite tracks to perform?
To perform.
I would say off the EP, I'd probably say Another Life. I mean,
That was almost the track I went with.
I mean, the
Another Life is fun.
ending vocals are like, it definitely, there's like a mindset you got to be in, like, because that's like kind of a deeper song. So it's really fun to kind of just show people like, we worked hard on this and here you go.
I would say this is the team player in me. Those drums are the most boring drums ever. It literally just loops over and over and over. But I would still say that one just because of the energy and how it makes you feel when you're playing it. It's not a hype one. It's just kind of hypnotizing a little bit, that song.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
What track has your favorite drums to play?
Ooh. Probably Ride. It was our second single, 22. Those are fun.
That was the other one I was kind of torn on if I was going to do as my individual pick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I really enjoy playing Ride. Ride's a lot of fun. The bass is moving a lot. Off the EP, maybe Another Life or Stella. I like those tracks a lot. I like Another Life because it's just deep, and it's moving, and I can feel it in my bones when I play it. So
I'll be honest, the only reason I didn't pick it is because I didn't want my breakdown to go too long.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I could sit here for a minute.
I know.
And so just for your guys' audience and for y'all, I didn't want to do that. But that is definitely a quality track. So it's cool that y'all enjoy it quite a bit as well. And now, as far as like going live goes, and you did just play a show last night at Mission, and that's how was that?
Gosh, that was wild.
crazy. That was awesome.
Not thinking it was going to get packed out.
Yeah.
Mission, it's not a big venue, but it's a medium-sized venue, I'd say, and it was packed. So that was really encouraging, and it was nice to play in front of people. I mean, that was sick.
Who were y'all playing with?
Moon Bear, Jeopardy Blue. So
Okay.
couple like indie rock bands.
And they rock.
Yeah.
Really rock.
Yeah.
No, I'm familiar with Moon Bear. That's actually really cool. That was probably a really cool show.
They
Moon Bears, they're very talented.
They are good.
Yep,
Tight,
Moon Bear
very
one
tight.
time. And then I guess before you guys play live, do you have any like rituals or things you do as a band?
Jeez. Stretch. It's my ritual, honestly.
That is a good one.
Or like your spine just gets a little crooked. So
Nice.
stretch it.
Last night I brought like pre-workout to the venue, and I just like,
Oh my god.
hey, that was right. I hadn't eaten since 2. I was like, let's just do it. Let's get ready, baby.
That's all right. Well, I'll have to try that one time for an episode.
Yeah, dude. It wakes you up. That's all I can say.
Hell yeah. Do you have anything you do before?
Not particularly, just try and relax. Try not to freak out.
Sip.
Yeah, take a little sip of something and chill out.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And then I guess, sorry, my thing's not working here. What steps do you guys take as a band to try and like progress your sound or like make sure that you're always kind of pushing the envelope a little bit?
Man.
Good question.
Honestly, I think every band has a different version of where they're at. I think we're very in a very beginning stage, I would say.
Yeah.
So we've had to learn a lot in the last 2 years just
Yeah.
because we just have no experience. That's really what it is. But we focus a lot on our vocals. I think as a live band, when you're playing, you want to hear the vocals.
Yeah.
So we really try very hard to get rid of our ego, especially me as a drummer, make our band sound good. No one needs to hear me necessarily. They need to hear all of us. So
Fair.
we focus a lot on the vocals. So just all our tracks that we lay down and our equipment is just kind of centered on vocals. Let's make sure we can hear him.
Got it.
And then we'll be okay. Also, he has really good vocals, so
Yeah, I don't know.
we don't need to hide him.
No, I think that's a really healthy approach, I think, to have. Because, like, obviously, I personally come from a world of instruments. Like, so my ears don't go to the words first. That's just never where I've been. But the general listening experience and live, I think in particular, that is where it's going. Like, you want to
Hear him, it's a problem.
yeah, you want to, and then you want to be able to sing along. It's not fun sitting in the stage going doo, 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 doo. Like that doesn't translate.
Usually me.
Yeah,
If
so
the
just
vocals
like-
are muddy, it just everything crumbles.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
or even if they're just not well represented in the music. And I think that's a really good point that you touched on, is that even if the mix of the experience is good, if the band isn't intentionally moving towards a focused point, regardless of what it is. So that I think is really like for, even though you said you guys are kind of in the earlier stages, that is a very dialed in mindset to have. And it seems to translate well, even on a recorded platform. And then how, I guess I can't really ask how the band has evolved over time because you all are still relatively new.
We're evolving.
But before we move into the next portion, what are some of your like highlight moments from the band so far?
Oh man,
Well, last night was one of them.
yeah, that was
Mission
incredible.
Theater.
That was really fun. Our first show was really fun.
We used to do house shows at his place.
You know what? The house show that we played for all our friends, we were at that point a cover band. I don't think we had an original song then. And that was a lot of fun. It was literally in my living room, the size of this probably.
Yeah.
And we set up these like dinky strobe lights and, just
Fog
cheesy
machine
stuff.
from Amazon.com.
There it is.
And we just had all our friends. We had some pizza and everyone's just dancing around, jumping around. And that was fun.
That was fun.
That would for sure be one of my highlights, I'd say. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. And then before we get into the next part officially, and this is all kind of individual experience again. I'm sorry, I'm phrasing this question wrong. We've talked a lot about your experience with music, the actions, the reactions, and things like that. But on an individual level, when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
I like how it makes me feel. I listen to music for different reasons, but especially to feel. I like feeling an emotion. I like feeling connected to a song. So it helps me with the things that I'm feeling at the time. If I'm feeling depressed or happy, I like that it can kind of, what's the word? Like elevate those feelings or kind of help me work through those feelings. That's something I appreciate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I've always kind of viewed music, any genre, kind of like as my companion. It goes with me everywhere. Whatever I'm going through, whatever I'm doing, whether I'm having fun or just a hard time, music's always kind of there, you know? And I'd say my companion. That's what it gives back to me.
Oh yeah.
I just say music's like, it's the thing I can always come back to, like no matter what. Like relationships fall apart, I lose friends or gain people or gain anything and go through phases in life. Like music's always there. It's always a constant and it's always something that kind of remains unchanging. It's like somebody you can rely on almost if you could personify it.
Yeah.
To where it's just like this deep ingrained thing in you that is just this pillar like of security, I guess. So when I'm writing, when I'm making music, it's like, yeah, this is what I do. You know, this is what I like to do.
I love that. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
But now let's go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions. And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one's pretty straightforward. If the band could share a bill with any one act, they just have to be currently active, who would it be?
Oh, man. Arctic?
I'd open for Arctic Monkeys.
Arctic Monkeys, dude.
Crazy.
Hell yeah.
Monkeys.
Like Glastonbury or
Yeah.
like a big.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Fontaines, DC would be crazy.
It would be.
Krungman.
Krungman would be sweet. We just saw Krungman the other night.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, weren't they just at, was that Edgefield?
Edgefield. Yeah.
Right against the stage. It
Oh man, I'm so sad I missed that. I bet that was amazing.
was crazy.
Twice.
No. No.
And a couple days ago.
Oh, damn.
Hey man, when you live in Eugene,
Yeah.
do not. carry you.
No, I feel ya. I feel ya. There's going to be a band that I want to see playing in Bend soon, and I'm just like, I don't think I want to travel out there, but I kind of want to.
Trek.
Yeah. And then subsequently, who's a local act that you each are aware of that you haven't gotten to share the stage with yet, but you would like to?
Oh, man. I'm not as in touch with the local scene as I'd like to be.
Yes. I mean, Moon Bear for me was the longest
True.
time because I was stoked on them for a while, and just last night we played with them, so that was cool. So now I have to find a new band
Yeah.
to chase after.
Does Goth Babe count? Is he too big?
Local?
He's kind of local.
Own boy.
He's local, but he's kind of big.
Yeah, he's got everything.
I mean, it still counts. It still counts as long as they're from here.
Yeah, he's very like Northwestern. Like he has that Portland vibe, like when he's on stage and stuff. Because we saw him.
I
God.
always wondered. I don't know if he's like from LA and transplanted.
Yeah,
here,
maybe
or if
it's
he's
like
from
a
here. You think? I don't know.
Could be.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
And then for this next one, like I said, sky's the limit, so have fun with this. But if the band's music could be the soundtrack to any movie, which movie would you pick?
Man.
I don't know.
Princess and the Frog.
Oh, yes, the classic.
It'd have to be some 80s movie.
I would.
I hope it's an 80s movie.
Yeah.
That would be my answer. Any 80s movie.
Just Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
Work. Played.
You got something?
These are killer questions, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Prepared for you.
This is what I consider
about
to be
that.
my one, like, fun one.
This is a good one.
Yeah, because I like even I have a hard time kind of figuring out an answer to this question.
Yeah. I don't have one.
I don't either. I can't peg our sound to a movie I've seen.
Yeah.
We want to be 80s really bad, so as long
we
as
do.
it's in the 80s, I think we're good.
Okay.
Like a Spielberg movie, maybe.
Well, you know what? Everybody, put it in the comments what you think would be a good movie for their music. And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could each add one abstract instrument to the band, so, you know, not bass, drum, guitars, keys, things like that. Those are pretty standard. But if you could add one kind of out there instrument, what would you want to add?
Triangle.
Triangle. Cowbell.
Just because of my background, I admire accordion players. I think they are so sick and so skilled.
I have name dropped the accordion as the answer to this question so many times, never gotten that as the answer.
Really?
I appreciate it.
Wow.
Yeah.
They are so skilled. I like it'll probably sound bad with our music, but just to have that talent up there and just see what they do. Oh my God.
They shred. It's such a crazy instrument.
We'll make it work.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And then you said cowbell?
Oh, I was
gonna say that. I feel like that's in the realm of reasonable.
First thought was saxophone, but that's not that far out there enough. I feel
I was
like
gonna say that's actually a regular answer.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
It is
still
a regular answer.
abstract-esque, but
Go bagpipes.
Bagpipes could be cool.
okay.
That could be pretty sweet.
whistle.
Put some reverb on those puppies.
Dang.
You know they have a electronic bagpipe now. It's just the piece, and like when you hold your fingers on it, it like generates the sound.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So for like people who are like a little on the older side and can't really fill the bag, or it lets for bigger acts, it lets them perform that
You
way.
already know there's haters for it though.
Oh, for sure.
I have a hater right now just thinking about it.
It's not analog, bro.
Yeah.
All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and February?
More shows, more music.
We'd love to put out at least a single in the winter.
Yeah.
We have a lot of songs that we've just kind of
We've been sitting on.
and we need to put them out. When we play live, it's nice for people to know your music.
Yeah.
So if you bust out this really good song that you think is good, but no one knows it, it's kind of hard to have a good time with. So we really need to put out our music, I think.
Yeah.
That
Music,
focus.
reps.
Also just more more shows.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can release some more dates here soon.
Yeah, we don't play enough. We need more reps.
Yeah.
Fair. Well, definitely looking forward to that. For this next one, go and look straight at your cameras and tell everybody how they can find you.
Well, you can find us at Spotify, Instagram. Those are probably our two biggest ones, I'd say.
Yeah.
Salamonca. So yeah, we're always trying to make new music, and hopefully you guys dig it.
Oh, yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you'd like to put on while you're on here?
Shout out to Thaddeus Moore.
Oh, Thaddeus.
Yeah.
Saved us.
He's the man. He
Liquid mastering.
he was awesome.
Yeah.
We really appreciate the work he did.
Yeah.
Ronald Records
Ronald Records
was an awesome little
Jimmy.
gig that we had.
Yeah. Seriously, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Hell yeah. All right. And with that being said, we've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second. As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to you, the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? It's a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know, but it's one you think everybody should know.
It's a really good question.
I don't know if it's obscure enough, but Electric Light Orchestra, Time, I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
I really like that album. It's like it tells a story of like this guy from the 80s going to the future. He misses his girlfriend. He doesn't know how to get back. It's kind of fun. It tells a story.
No, that's a cool. I don't get their name a lot either. That's a fun drop for sure.
They're a cool band.
Yeah.
I'd probably go Melvin's Houdini. Houdini. It's a pretty like heavy album. I used to listen to like when I was pretty young, like starting to find my way with music. You wouldn't associate it with our music at all, but
That's okay. I mean, I think well-rounded music comes from a well-listened experience anyways.
but it
That's a
came
solid rec.
came from up there and depressing like Olympia, Aberdeen, in between there somewhere. And these guys just were in a garage or whatever and made some of the heaviest like sludge, grunge metal.
Hell yeah.
Some cool stuff.
Well, damn, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
All right, then what about you?
I don't know how obscure it is. The only reason why I bring it up is because no one ever talks about them. Death from Above, 1979.
Oh, damn.
They
That's a name I
rock.
haven't heard in a minute.
Yeah, You're a Woman, I'm a Machine. That album's from like 2004. Bass and drums, baby. I mean, amazing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Man, look,
quality music, you guys, all the way through this whole episode. I just have to say, there's not been one name that I've been like, well, all right. Like, yeah. All right. But with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Mason.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ben.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.